Hello everyone, welcome to Daily News Analysis of Shankar IAS Academy. Today's date is 14th of May 2024. Displayed here are the articles that we are going to discuss today. So before we start, I have an important announcement to make.
Hello UPSC candidates, we are excited to announce the All India UPSC Prelims 2024 mock test series brought to you by Shankar IAS Academy. These mock tests are meticulously designed to give you a real exam feel and prepare you for what's coming in this UPSC season. The first test starts from 26th of May 2024. These tests are available both online and offline to suit your convenience. Don't miss out this opportunity to benchmark your preparation against the best. Spread the word and make sure your fellow UPSC aspirants don't miss out on this golden opportunity. Let's crack UPSC Prelims 2024 together.
Now without much delay, let us get into the discussion.
So first let us solve few previous year questions. Look at this question. With reference to the history of ancient India, Bhavabudhi, Hastimala and Shemeshwara were famous Jain monks, playwrights, temple architects, philosophers. Here the correct answer is option B, playwrights. Know that playwrights are also known as dramatists. Just as a poet writes poems, a playwright writes plays. Know that Bhavabudhi was an 8th century scholar noted for his plays and poetry. It was written in Sanskrit. The works attributed to poet Bhavabudhi were Mahavira Charita, that is depicting the early life of Rama, Malati Madhava, which is a play based on the romance of Malati and Madhava, and next one is Uttara Ramacharita, that depicts Rama's coronation, the abandonment of Sita and the reunion. He is believed to be the court poet of King Yashovarman of Kanauj. So these are all some of the points about Bhavabudhi. Next, Hastimala, he was a 13th century Kannada poet and writer in Hosala Empire. He wrote 8 plays including Vikrant Kaurava, Shubhadra Harna and Purva Purana. Next one is Shemeshwara. He was an 11th century Sanskrit poet from Kashmir in India. One of the important works attributed to him is Dasavadar Charita. So these are all some of the points about these playwrights. With this, let us move on to the next question. With reference to the medieval India, which one of the following is the correct sequence in ascending order in terms of size? Before solving this question, let us understand few divisions in the Mughal administration and come back to this question. The Mughals in India had an elaborative administrative setup. This setup has emperor as the head of the central administration. He is aided by different officials like Mirbakshi, Diwan, etc. With respect to division of empire, it was divided into provinces called subas. The entire suba was divided into sarkas, that is districts, each being looked after by a military officer called Chief Shikdar. Then each sarkar was divided into smaller units called parganas. See, in every pargana, there was a Sikdar who was a military officer, Amin or Munsif who was a civilian judge, 1 Fotadar, that is treasurer, and 2 Karkuns, that is clerks or writers. They were present. So with this understanding about Mughal administration, let us come back to the question. So as we discussed earlier, here the correct answer is option A, Pargana, Sarkar, Suba. This is the correct ascending order. Now let us move on to the news article discussion. Look at this article. According to the news article, few days back, the first recipient of a modified pig kidney transplant passed away around 2 months after the surgery was carried out. In this backdrop, let us understand the term Xenotransplantation and how it works. First, what is Xenotransplantation? See, the word Xeno comes from the Greek word meaning foreign or strange. Xenotransplantation is the procedure that involves transplanting, implanting or infusing live cells, tissues or organs from a non-human animal source into a human recipient. In other words, it is a process of grafting or transplanting organs or tissues between members of different species. It is actually an emerging technology which aims to use animal organs to address the critical shortage of human donor organs. Now let us see how xenotransplantation works. Know that pigs are often used for xenotransplantation. Initially, the animal's organ undergoes genetic modifications. This is done to prevent the human body from rejecting the organ. Technologies like CRISPR-Cas9 are used to remove pig genes that produce sugars, which human antibodies react to and add human genes to improve capabilities. Then comes the surgical procedure. The surgical implantation of a pig kidney into a human is similar to a regular kidney transplant. Standard post-surgery immune-suppressing drugs are administered to prevent rejection. Post the operative, monitoring is essential to observe how the human body responds to the transplanted organ and to manage any immune response. This is how xenotransplantation is done. Here, you might have a doubt why organs from pigs are often used for xenotransplantation. See, this is mainly because their anatomical and physiological parameters are similar to that of humans, and the breeding of pigs in farms is widespread and cost effective. Also, many varieties of pig breeds are formed, which provides an opportunity for the size of the harvested organs to be matched with the specific needs of the human recipient. With this, let us see the complications or challenges faced by the procedure. First one is immune rejection. The human immune system can reject animal organs. Strategies such as embedding the pig's thymus gland within the kidney can help mitigate this risk by training the immune system to accept the organ. Next one is infection risks. There is a concern about the transmission of infections from the animals to humans. This includes both recognized and unrecognized infectious agents which could potentially spread to close contact and broader population. Retroviruses pose a particular risk as they can remain latent and cause disease years after infection. Thirdly, there are significant ethical considerations and regulatory hurdles that must be addressed to ensure the safety and the acceptability of xenotransplantation. So that's all about this concept. With this, let us move on to the next news article. Look at this article. It provides an overview of the impact that vaccinations have had on global child health over the past 50 years, as highlighted in the study published in The Lancet. Now let us learn some key points and findings from the articles. First one is the overall impact. See, vaccinations have saved approximately 150 million children's lives globally over the past half century. Measles vaccine alone are responsible for saving about 60% of these lives, which underscores their crucial role in the global health efforts. Next, the article notes a significant reduction in the child mortality rates from vaccine-preventable diseases, attributing 40% of the decline in the infant mortality rates from 10% in the 1974 to 3% in 2024 to vaccinations. Also, there have been a substantial increase in the coverage of immunization programs worldwide. For example, the measles vaccination coverage globally rose from less than 20% in 2000 to 70% by 2021. The Western Pacific region notably increased from 2% in 2000 to 91% in 2021. Next, we will see some region-wise vaccination data. First, for measles, chart 2 in the article provides details on the region-wise distribution of measles vaccination among children. Significant improvements have been seen, particularly in the Western Pacific and Southeast Asian region. Next one is DTP3 vaccinations. Coverage of third dose of diphtheria, pertussis and tetanus vaccine also increased significantly, with more than 80% of 1-year-olds receiving the vaccine in 2021. Despite progress, there was periods where vaccination efforts stalled, particularly in 2000 when coverage expansion slowed, leaving many children in Africa and Asia unvaccinated. The establishment of Gavi, the Vaccine Alliance, helped address these gaps by enhancing access to vaccinations. There are still millions of deaths annually from vaccine-preventable diseases such as tuberculosis, measles and tetanus. The article calls for a universal vaccine coverage and increased investments and coordination by the governments and international organizations to overcome these challenges. That's all about this vaccination report. Now let us move to the next article. Look at this science page article. This article talks about the recent discovery of a rocky exoplanet with an atmosphere. It is located 41 light years away in the constellation Cancer. The planet named 55 Cancri or Janssen. It is a super Earth with a mass 8 times of Earth and a diameter of about twice as large. This discovery makes a significant milestone in the search for potentially habitable planets beyond our solar system. In this context, let us learn few facts given in this article. Firstly, know that exoplanets are planets that orbit other stars and are beyond our solar system. The first confirmation of detection of exoplanets occurred in 1992. According to NASA, to date, more than 5,000 exoplanets have been discovered. These exoplanets are classified based on their size and mass. Let's know about them one by one. Firstly, gas giants. These are planets that have size of Saturn or Jupiter, which is largest planet in our system, or much larger. More variety is hidden within these broad categories. For example, hot Jupiters were among the first planet types found. Gas giants orbit so closely to their stars that their temperatures soar into thousands of degrees. Then the Neptune planets. They are similar to the size of Neptune or Uranus in our solar system. They likely have a mixture of interior compositions, but all will have hydrogen and helium dominated outer atmospheres and rocky cores. Scientists have also discovered mini Neptunes. These are planets smaller than Neptune and bigger than Earth. No planet of this size or type exists in our solar system. Then Super Earth. They are typically terrestrial planets that may or may not have atmospheres. They are more massive than Earth but lighter than Neptune. The newly found planet that we saw in the news article today, named 55 Cancri E or Janssen, is actually a super Earth. Finally, the terrestrial planets. These are Earth-sized and smaller, composed of rock, silicate, water or carbon. Further investigation will determine whether some of them possess atmosphere, ocean or other signs of habitability. These are the types of exoplanets. Know that Janssen orbits its star, which is slightly less massive and dimmer than our Sun, at a perilously close distance, about 1/25th the distance between Mercury and the Sun. It completes an orbit every 18 hours. This proximity results in extreme surface temperatures around 1725 degrees Celsius, creating a hellish environment with a surface likely composed of molten rocks. Infrared observations using James Webb Space Telescope revealed the presence of a substantial atmosphere which is likely being continuously replenished by gases emitted from the planet's ocean of magma. The atmosphere is believed to be rich in carbon dioxide or carbon monoxide with possible traces of water vapor and sulfur dioxide. The thickness of this atmosphere could be similar to Earth's or even denser than Venus, the thickest atmosphere in the solar system. 55 Cancri E is probably tidally locked, meaning one side constantly faces its star, much like the moon does with Earth. The discovery of this planet is crucial because prior to this discovery, all exoplanets found with atmospheres were gaseous. The identification of a rocky planet with an atmosphere by the James Webb Space Telescope represents a significant advancement in the exoplanet exploration. It has actually opened new possibilities in the quest to understand planetary atmospheres and their potential to support life. So that's all about this article. Now let us move on to the next news article. This article discusses the growing importance of mediation in India's legal landscape, mainly enforced by legislative reforms and judicial support. It highlights the need to address barriers to skill development for aspiring mediators and advocates for innovative training methods and curriculum integration. Moreover, it also emphasizes the transformative potential of mediation in promoting amicable dispute resolution and calls for a cultural shift towards its widespread adoption. This is the crux of the article. In our discussion, we are going to see about mediation, its importance in our discussion through our main answer writing approach. First, let me read out the question for you. Examine the role of mediation in Indian legal system in the light of Mediation Act 2023. Discuss the challenges hindering the effective implementation of the Act to promote alternative dispute resolution mechanisms. We need to write answer in 250 words. Before that, this can be asked in GS paper 3. This question, which demands us to have a fair idea about various provisions of the Mediation Act. This is because with those basics only, you could write about the challenges, shortcomings of the Act and steps to overcome it. Now let us see how we are going to proceed. In the introduction part, you can write about the Mediation Act, its importance in a brief. In the body, you can write about the challenges in implementing the Act. Having seen the skeleton of the Act, now let us start answering. In the introduction, you can write like this. Mediation is a method of alternative dispute resolution, that is ADR, used to resolve conflicts, disputes and disagreements between parties with the assistance of neutral third party known as the mediator. See, it is one of the evolving areas of justice delivery system which will reduce burden on the courts. This can be done by enabling out-of-court settlements, reduce filing of frivolous claims before the Indian courts. India enacted Mediation Act 2023 to formalize this process and give a recognition to it. So this can be your introduction. In the body part, let us see the role of mediation in the light of Mediation Act 2023. Firstly, with respect to reduction of huge pendency of court cases, the Act obligates each of the parties to take steps to settle their disputes through pre-litigation mediation before approaching the court. This is an important step as this will reduce the filing of claims before the Indian courts. Various PRS data are showing that our courts are already overburdened
with 70,000 cases pending in Supreme Court and 60 lakh cases pending in High Court. Secondly, with respect to the strengthening of alternative dispute resolution, that is ADR, the bill would facilitate quick disposal of disputes outside of traditional court system. Note that mediation will result in amicable resolution of civil, criminal, family and matrimonial disputes. Moreover, it also has a list of disputes which are not fit for disputes like criminal procedure, etc., which will enhance the process. Thirdly, it will promote ease of doing business. See, it is a watershed act which will have significant positive impact on the country's economy and the business environment by avoiding the court delays. We know that despite our improvement in the ease of doing business index, India is still struggling in the parameter of contract enforcement, which will be sorted out in this bill. Fourthly, it is a cost-effective method. See, mediation is a cost-effective dispute resolution process than courts. Let me give you an example. According to an article published in Harvard Business Review, mediation outside courts will cost an approx of $7 lakh, but court may cost $2.5 million over a period of 3 to 5 years. Moreover, faster outcomes. The Act provides a maximum time of 180 days for the mediation settlement. Judicial courts normally dispose the civil matters within 3 years on an average. So this can be your first part of our body. In the second part, we shall discuss about the challenges. In the challenges part, you can write like this. Firstly, with the mandatory pre-litigation mediation, the Act mandates pre-litigation mediation for both parties as a prerequisite before initiating any legal suit or proceedings in the court, irrespective of the existence of the mediation agreement between them. This is in serious contravention with Article 21 of the Constitution that guarantees access to justice as a fundamental right which cannot be curtailed. Secondly, limited expertise of mediators. This Act specifies that full-time members of the Council should possess knowledge or experience related to mediation or ADR laws and mechanisms, but the lacunae, it does not necessarily require them to be practicing mediators with substantial practical experience. This can pose challenges. Let me give you an example. The Act allows for the appointment of an arbitrator as a full-time member of the Council. However, the arbitrator may not be the best suited individual to perform functions which are suited for the mediators. Thirdly, it requires the approval of central government for issuing regulations. Under the Act, the Council will carry out its primary functions by issuing regulations, but it is obligated to obtain approval from the central government before implementing these regulations. This may limit the effectiveness of the Council if it is subject to central government approval for its core functions. Finally, multiple registrations for mediators. See, mediators are required to be registered or empaneled at 4 different places, including the Mediation Council of India, a court-annexed mediation center, a recognized mediation service provider, and a legal service authority. This may also pose challenge of increasing delay in the appointment of mediators. So this can be your body part. In the conclusion, you can write like this. By addressing the challenges of Mediation Act 2023, we can make a comprehensive framework which can be cost-effective, reduce pendency if implemented in letter and spirit. Moreover, the mediation can echo the ethos of Mahatma Gandhi, who says true rule of a lawyer not in litigation but in uniting parties in disputes. This can be attained by mediation which reorients the focus from adversarial confrontation to reconciling differences and healing relationship. So that's all about this mains answer writing practice. So with this, let us see some other articles which were in news. The seemal tree. See, the seemal tree faces severe threat due to its use in holy celebrations in Udaipur. Know that it is mainly grown in southern Rajasthan and they are integral to the ecosystems and local communities of this region. Despite its ecological and medicinal value, thousands of these trees are harvested and burned annually during the festival, which significantly contributes their decline. Local tribes harvest these trees due to high demand in urban areas. The article also mentions that cutting of seemal tree violates 2 major legal frameworks. One is Rajasthan Forest Act 1953, next Forest Conservation Act 1980. These legal protections exist but are often flouted. Efforts have been taken by activists to conserve the seemal tree and promote alternative materials for holy rituals. So that's all about this article. Look at this front page article. The Global Alliance of National Human Rights Institutions, that is GANHRI, has deferred
the accreditation for India's National Human Rights Commission, that is NHRC, for the second consecutive year. Now, why is it important? See, this decision may impact India's voting rights at the Human Rights Council and some UN General Assembly bodies. The deferral is based on the concerns about lack of transparency in the NHRC's appointment procedures, inadequate representation of gender, and minorities in its composition. Also, its independence from the government interference. So these issues need to be addressed before the NHRC can regain its full accreditation status. Now let us move on to the prelims practice question discussion. First, look at this question. Consider the following statements regarding xenotransplantation. First statement, xenotransplantation or heterologous transplantation is the transplantation of living cells, tissues or organs from one species to another. So as we discussed in the article, first statement is correct. Next, pigs were first considered as a potential organ source for xenotransplantation to humans. This statement is incorrect because non-human primates were first considered as a potential organ source for xenotransplantation to humans. Since primates were no longer being considered as possible organ donors, intense experimental research began to focus on pigs as potential donors. The pig is currently regarded as the most suitable source of organs for the future xenotransplantation. So the second statement is incorrect. So here the correct answer is option A, one only. Next question. Consider the following statements. Exoplanets or planets that orbits other stars and are beyond our solar system. This statement is correct. Exoplanets vary in size and have different range of temperatures. This statement is also correct. Pluto is an example of exoplanet. This statement is incorrect because Pluto is not an exoplanet as it revolved around the sun of our solar system. Here they are asking which are all the statements are correct. So the answer is option B, 1 and 2 only.
With this, we come to the end of this news article discussion. If you like the video, do like, share and subscribe to Shankar IAS Academy. Thank you so much for watching.